Donald Trump's free speech policy. All right, let's check it out. What I think is good or bad.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's
true.
As simple as that.
That's true.
If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple, just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're very mad because they're losing all their power.
To suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here.
Okay, I mean, in general, I think that's good because I don't like them censoring information from anybody, but I guess it depends how you do it.
Here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens.
That's good, isn't it? It means that the government can't interfere with people's free speech by bullying media outlets. That's absolutely right.
I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis or disinformation.
I'm pretty sure Twitch is messing with you. Every time you play something political, I get an ad. Hold on, let me check it. I'm going to press the ad button. Wait a minute, the ad button worked. So I wasn't in a break. I'm so sorry to the editor of this video, Julio probably. This video is going to take you twice as long to edit. You cannot use federal money to label speech as mis or disinformation. I think that's good. Yeah, I don't want the government telling me like what's mis or disinformation because the problem is that the government can be biased based on who's in power. And I don't trust either side being in power and being able to make that call.
We'll begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health.
He's gonna fire them all the people that did that? Mwah.
Human
Good
Services,
shit.
the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively...
This is the way he says things. It is destructive and terrible. It's just so funny.
Prosecute.
It's so funny because like when he talks, it sounds like a normal person. It doesn't sound like a politician, and it's so funny. Like every time he talks, you just listen to it. It sounds like a normal ass person talking shit, which is funny.
Any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. To assist in these efforts, I am urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters. And we have to do this right now.
Preservation letter is basically like you cannot delete shit. If you delete shit, you get your big trouble. But then again, like, how do you do that? Like, they just delete it and be like, there was nothing there.
To the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of...
Chat pretending like this is Trump's first time being president? What, because of how he talks? I kind of honestly, I prefer that he doesn't talk like I don't know, that's just me. I know a lot of people would prefer if like the president like talked in like more elaborate presidentially language. I like it that he speaks very like common man on the street. I like that more.
Censorship. Third, upon my inauguration as president.
But again, it's just my personal preference. You might like it more if he speaks more statesmanly, which is good, nice too.
President, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230.
Is the thing that gives websites protection, right? Section 230. Yeah. Yeah. This is the one that, like, if you're a platform, basically you're not responsible for like the content that people post. It's a government protection that makes it so that somewhere like Twitter, for instance, is not directly liable for a person slandering somebody, for instance. But the problem is, a lot of the times these companies will say, oh, we're a platform, you can post whatever you want, but then you can't, because they execute editorial privilege. You could sue a newspaper, for instance, if they published something very obviously wrong, meant to slander somebody, but you can't sue like Twitter, because Twitter lets anybody post anything, right? So again, a lot of these companies, they execute editorial privilege, as in they will ban certain ways of thinking. They will ban that, but then at the same time claim Section 230. So that's why, like, yeah, we'll see what he says
Big
about it.
online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality.
I 100% agree with this. What the fuck? That's really good. That's really good that they cannot claim 230 unless they're actually neutral.
Transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful. Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interference as in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support.
So if they were caught censoring, they should lose federal funding applied retroactively. Yeah, I don't know about doing it retroactively. Unless, hold on, wait. Does he mean that, like, if they did it before, then they will lose funding unless they fix it? Or does he mean just like they lose funding immediately if they retroactively did it? This one depends on how he says it, on how he does it, basically.
Period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials, there should be a 7-year cooling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data.
That's interesting. So basically, if you worked for one of the, like, a government agency, you cannot get a job at a place that manages user data. Like immediately after, basically. There's like a cool-off period.
Fifth, the time
that seems pretty good, I think.
It's finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending.
Oh yeah, that was fucked up. Basically, the government would work hand in hand with social media to take stuff down. They'd be like, this is misinformation, take it down. But then that, again, that's the government making that call. The government they can say, take this person down, and then they'll take them down. What he's saying is that you have to actually prove that it's misinformation before that happens.
To Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why.
What? Really?
And the right to a timely appeal. In addition,
that's huge. He's saying that basically, if you get shadow, he's talking. If you get, basically what he's saying is like, if you get shadow banned, you have the right to know. Basically, they have to tell you like why it's happening and like why you got banned for it. They have to give you the reason.
Nation of the reason why and the right to a timely appeal.
And you can appeal it. You have to be able to appeal it.
In addition, all users over...
That's so huge, especially like if you're gonna... Again, this only applies to Section 230. So this is like anyone that's a platform can't just shadow ban you. This will apply to like YouTube too, right? Like they can't shadow ban you on YouTube without telling you. They can't ban you for no reason without telling you. They're gonna have to give you the specific reason you were banned, and gave you a chance to appeal. That's huge. This is massive for content creators.
Over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival
that last one is
Western
huge. I love
civilization.
That. Yeah.
When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation. Thank you, and God bless America.
Does that affect the power of power tripping Reddit mods? You know, I don't know how that applies to like a private thing, like a private Discord or something. I actually don't know. I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about that specific case to like actually talk about it. Every SNS platform will want this. SNS platforms would rather be able to just use this as a 100% excuse to not do anything on the platform. Otherwise, Methylene says anything on the platform, otherwise it's strictly illegal. Over the last 5 to 10 years, these SNS platforms have been between a rock and a hard place. Leaflit, they do not want to do it, but they want to be seen that they have to, since if they don't, they get financial harm. Oh, I see what you mean. So what you're saying is like the companies would love this because then they can say like, man, I don't know, we can't really hire moderators because, you know, like that's against the law, man. Like we can't do that. Like, well, I mean, you know, if people are gonna say Nazi shit, then I mean, just block them. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they have less to do, I guess, in that case. They can use it as an excuse, yeah. Doesn't the EU want the exact opposite of this? Man, I don't know. The EU doesn't really have free speech, to be honest. Most of it is due to advertisers getting mad. For instance, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter did not want to ban Trump originally, but they were forced to because advertisers were mad that it was promoting hate speech. These platforms do not actually fucking care. But yeah, it is an excuse to say like, well, we can't do it, so tough luck, man. It's kind of hard though, because at the same time, it's like, I'm trying to like think about this with like, there's a lot of things here. A lot of things to think about, like philosophically. If I'm a business owner and I don't want my products promoted, I mean, I'm just going to use an example. Say I don't want my products featured on next to furry content. Isn't that my right to say that? Shouldn't I be able to say I don't want that? I guess. I'd love to talk about this more. We have literal emails and communication logs of Biden in the White House and Facebook's asking how to turn the algorithm down of Trump, that he would be banned from it as well. To think it's just advertisers as lying. Well, yeah, but a lot of the other stuff, yeah, so Circle, what Methylene is saying is that like this kind of takes away a lot of it out of their hands though. They can just tell those people like, well, you know, it's against the law. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all of this pans out. I really like the last part though. The whole like if you get banned, like you have a right to know why you were banned. Xventian says, Leaflit, you've never been banned before. You only have the correct and mainstream opinions. Well, I've been banned. I've been big banned before. Not on Twitch. Ironically, Twitch is the only place that's never banned me. You know, knock on wood. I don't get banned, but I've never been banned on Twitch. I've been banned like everywhere else though.